Good afternoon, my name is Paul Knittel. I'm going to be talking to you about springtime wildflowers. This is the perfect time to get out and see them, especially on warm days like today. These wildflowers appear in woods, fields, along streams and things like that. They are called ephemeral, meaning they are fast disappearing. They only last a very short time, and that is because they pop up before the leaves actually come on the trees, and then they're gone by the time the leaves actually appear on the tree. So they actually get their energy from the usually tubers or the root system like that, and that's what brings up the flowers. So I'm going to talk to you about a few of them. The very first one that pops up every year, you have to go out into a wetland area along a stream or something like that, and that is called skunk cabbage. And skunk cabbage, one second here, let me get a picture for you. I'm using some field guides here because we don't have the actual plants right now. To get out and get the picture of the skunk cabbage and some of the others, they're not even up yet, but skunk cabbage is, but I didn't find it yet. So let me just show you a picture of what skunk cabbage looks like. Right there, one second. Skunk cabbage is not very attractive in that sense, but it is the first wildflower it actually comes up, and that is a flower right in there. Skunk cabbage, when it comes up, because it comes up so early, it actually has a smell of rotting meat, and that's deliberate in order to attract flies. About the only insects that are out about this time are flies, and they are the things that will pollinate the skunk cabbage. The next one that usually pops up about this time is going to be hepatica. And hepatica is found along streams a lot of the time. Let me just get that one out for you. This is hepatica down here. It's also called liverwort, and I'll explain that in a little bit, a little more detail, but the shape of the leaves look like a human liver, so they called it liverwort, and wort means plant. For old-time language, it means plant. So that's hepatica. That'll be coming up probably just about now, actually. And then there is spring beauty. And let me pull that one up for you. This spring beauty is actually a pink one. The ones I see most of the time tend to be a little more white with blue lines in them. And this also comes up in the woods. It's well, actually just started coming up yesterday in my woods. I saw one yesterday. And actually you can eat the roots of these plants, but they're so tiny that in trying to fill yourself up at all, it's not going to help. So that's a spring beauty right there. So that's up right about now. Marsh marigold should be coming up very soon too. And marsh marigold, as its name says, it is found in a marsh, and it has a marigold color, a yellow, bright yellow here. This is marsh marigold. And if you're driving along in a car or something and you see a stream, a little creek or something like that, and you see these bright yellow flowers along it, that's going to be the marsh marigold. Early people used to eat these plants, the buds on them and the leaves, but you have to get them at the right time, and you have to make sure you cook them correctly. So don't just go out and pick them. Trout lily is another one I'd like to show you. I find this in my woods as well. And I think I have that one in here. One second. There we go. Trout lily. This is a really nice one here. This is in woodlands, and it can carpet the whole floor of a woodland, and it takes about 7 years for it to actually flower. And again, these things only appear for about 3 days, and then they disappear, the flowers. These little bulbs down here, they are also edible, but again, they're so tiny that they're not really going to fill you up if you're trying to make a meal out of it. And that's called trout lily. It's also called, as I think it says down here, yellow adder's tongue. All right, so it's called trout lily because of the spotted leaves here. The yellow adder's tongue, I'm not sure, I can't remember where they were getting that from. Could be possibly the flower itself right there. And then Trillium is another one I'd like to show you. Trillium should be popping up in the next 2 weeks. And trillium is also called wake robin, and that is because it comes out about the same time robins start returning to our area. And let's just find that one for you. Here we go. There's 3 kinds of trillium that show up, and trillium meaning 3 leaves, 3 sepals. So this is trillium. This is the red trillium here, all right, and there's a white trillium as well. You can see there's a few different species of it, but the most common ones are you're going to find a red one. That's usually the first one that comes out. Within a week or 2, the white trillium starts popping out, and then there's another one not on this page, but it's called painted trillium with nice pink stripes inside it. And that's a rather uncommon trillium to see. So if you see that, you're really fortunate to see this. This is found in the woodlands, once again, easy to see. Most of the woods around here do have the trilliums in them. And then the last one I wanted to show you is called bloodroot. And it's called bloodroot because it does have a red dye inside it. And here's bloodroot here. And as you look at the root of it, it's red right in there. But if you actually break the stems of bloodroot, that is going to put a red juice on your hands, a stain like that. Now, bloodroot gets its name because people believe, because of the red inside it, that it would be helpful for your blood. And so that leads into the next thing I'm going to talk about, which is called the Doctrine of Signature. And what this is an old belief that started with the Greeks and the Romans, that the plants actually signify what they're going to be helpful for people. All right, and so then not only the Romans and the Greeks, but then in the 1500s, a gentleman came along and he wrote a book about this, and he called it the signature of things, and of all things, and he strongly promoted this concept that the plants will show you by their shape, their color, even their location, how they're supposed to help humans. This is not true. That's just a myth, and it can be very dangerous if you actually follow that belief. We talked about hepatica earlier, one of the woodland flowers, and it's also called liverwort because of the shape of the leaves that look like livers. And this made people believe that if you ate parts of this plant, that would help your liver if you had an ailment of your liver. Same thing for the bloodroot. They said, well, it looks like blood, must help with the blood. Those things aren't true. There's other plants called lungwort that's supposed to help with your lungs, liverwort that's supposed to help with your liver, and even one called eyebright that's supposed to help with your eyesight. Now, in some cases, rare cases, these plants actually scientists found out, could help you in certain situations that they were originally thought to help with. But it's very dangerous to think and ingest these kinds of plants thinking it's going to help you in that way. Walnuts is another example of this doctrine of signature. Walnuts look like the human brain, so people thought if I ate walnuts, it would help my brain. Ginseng, the last one I'll talk about, is another plant found in our woods out here. Very highly desirable as far as collecting because it can be sold for large amounts of money. And in China, it's highly desirable because the shape of ginseng's root looks like a human form. It looks like it has 2 legs, 2 arms, and a head. So ginseng is highly desirable, especially by the Chinese, because they will consume it thinking it's going to help them overall. There's plenty of other plants that go along that line. I'm running out of time, so I'm going to just cut it here and say thank you for watching, and get out and enjoy the spring wildflowers. Thank you.